YouTube. We finna talk about top 5 football players all time, Lee County, man. This is my top 5. Y'all might not agree with me or whatever, or if y'all want to extend it to top 10, whatever, but these are my top 5, Lee County. This means Fort Myers, Cape Cod, North Fort Myers. I'm talking about cities, down in Cypress Lake, everything. These are my top 5 football players in high school. Now, I'm not talking about what they did in college. I'm not talking about what they did in the pros. I'm not talking about they Hall of Famers. This is top 5 high school football players that I've ever seen, or not seen, or just top 5 football players of all time. Number 5. And people ain't gonna agree with this. People ain't gonna agree with my top 5 at all. But you gotta remember that there were players out there in the city that you only got to see a little bit of. But number 5, I have to say, is Noel Divine. Noel Divine was the most electric kid in the country, man. I just have to say that everybody knew that Noel Divine was going to be something. He actually really benefited from the social media aspect. So you see his social media, you saw like, well, at the time it wasn't that much of a social media. It was YouTube, and maybe we had Facebook at the time, but we just had YouTube and a lot of other little emails and all that stuff, but MySpace and all that. But his videos went viral, like one of the first videos to really go viral. But after that, he was dynamic, man. I actually went out there and dominated at all levels, youth levels, high school. So then after that, college did very good, in the Hall of Fame now in West Virginia. Great kid, doing well, son's doing good now. But Noel Divine is my number 5. Number 4, probably the best all-around athlete in a sense that I've ever seen. And a lot of people think that you have to be this or that. But as of a football player, I don't think that there was anybody in Lee County that was better. Now let me straighten y'all out before y'all say anything. But I don't think that there was anybody in Lee County that was better at doing one thing. Let me stop. My number 4 was just a player guy. Feed the world, man. Draden. He could play that position better than anybody I've ever seen play that position. Everybody talk about Terrence Cody didn't won this, and Terrence Cody did this, and or any other, like, even I have a honorable mention where I talk about other kids, other guys, young men, or grown men now. But there was nobody that played that position in high school better than Feed the World, Draden. Nobody. You can put any other thing in front of him, but as of being the best at that position in this county, I mean, there's Mario Henderson, God bless the dead. There's so many other defensive players that we could talk about, defensive linemen, but that's the guy. Number 4. My number 3. It's a personal favorite. It may be a little bit bias put into it. But as a high school football player. Number 3, high school football player. Not anything else. The best in high school to ever play the game. Just really in Lee County. In Lee County. Not no one else can compare to the physical difference that he made at the position that he played. Now there's thousands and hundreds of other players that were in these times, and I sit there and think of who could be as good as this person watching them. But in high school, number 3. Almost gives me chills to really think about it, because he was that good. He was a man amongst boys. Greg Spires. Just one of those guys. Leave it at that. Number 2, we're gonna go stat. Number 2 is stat. Number 2 in high school, because of what he, and it might even been what he turned out to be, but number 2 is stat, and we just can't go no different than that. We can't go away, because I mean, obviously after that there's great players, but number 2 is absolutely Deion Sanders. Prime time. Enough said. I don't even have to go there. I don't have to talk about anybody else. I don't have to go back into history and think, which I've done. Like I went back even as far as like the 70s to think about anybody. You know what I mean? You know, everybody talks about like Mike McKay, C.C. Davis, and you know Mike Green, and all these other, Pat Boston, Johnny Church. I mean, we can go on forever with just ball players. You know what I'm saying? I just don't see anybody eclipsing Deion. Number 1 is, everybody knows who he is, man, and I put a little clip of his highlights. But number 1 is definitely Jamie Jammin' German. Jamie German is the best Lee County athlete in the history of Lee County football right now. I've seen all these kids y'all can tell me about, everybody else. There's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 with Sammy Watkins, Ernest Graham. We can keep going with all these cats. We can talk about all these Lee County cats. But Jamie German, greatest all time. Fort Myers High School. Had every attribute that you needed. To be all around. I'm talking about high school. About 6'1", 6'2". I think 6'2", 6'3", whatever. 240 legit. You can talk about his 417 and the quarter in the air and all that. Cool. He was that fast. He wasn't fast like he'll beat everybody, because there's a man, my homeboy Isaac Harvin, that was faster than him, I think. Like on a straight line faster than him. But Jamie had that I won't lose fast. I'm not losing to you fast. I'm gonna outrun you fast. I don't care how fast, more faster than you are than me, but I'm gonna be better than you. That's real. Jamie German was a kid that you give him the ball once or twice, and you can guarantee one of those. He was a score every other play guy. So Jamie was so good. Jamie German was so good that he won the Defensive Player of the Year in high school when he was really a great offensive player, just because they couldn't give him both of them, because Ron Powlus, who was supposed to be the Notre Dame Golden Boy, that he was the quarterback. He was a quarterback. They had to give Ron Powlus the offensive. Jamie German literally should have won both Gatorade Players of the Year that year, offense and defense. That's how good Jamie German was. Well, look him up. I said I'm post it in the. Don't worry, I got you. But that's my top 5 Lee County 239. Y'all have a good day. Peace.